With the 25th pick in Nick Wright's NFL Mock Draft 3.0, the Houston Texans select Kelvin Banks Jr., offensive tackle, University of Texas.
So Kelvin stays in Texas, 24 Outland Award winner, 1 sack allowed over the last 28 games, highest Texas O-line pick since 2002. He goes to the Texans to give CJ some protection, who was running all over the place. Jeff, early on in the draft process, it felt like he was
You thought he might go to the Patriots.
Yeah, well, I started reading the Patriots, and then Will Campbell felt like he jumped. Do you like Kelvin in Houston?
I do. They need a left tackle. He's probably right now the most ready of the guys left at the top of the first round. He's one guy that I think the gulf might be wider than anyone. Like their mock drafts have him at 6 the last couple of days. There's some, and if he doesn't go 6 or 7, he's going like 25. I think it depends on, and this is a lot of flavor of these guys in this draft this year, where not just offensive linemen, where some teams are going to have him 7, some are going to have him 17, some will have him 30. So his run blocking is much better right now than his pass protection. You can see right here, he's an excellent run blocker. Just has to get more consistent as a pass protector. But we talked about this earlier, 5-star kid, top of his class, like his true freshman year, he had a great game against Alabama. Like it's all there, just has to be more consistent.
Brew, you're also kind of a CJ guy.
Yeah. Not kind of.
Okay, you are. Sorry, my bad. It feels like they have 2 obvious needs, both on offense. Offensive line and receiver. They could have stayed in Texas for Matthew Golden. You know what I mean? So what would you rather see them address in this first round?
Offensive line.
Okay.
And I know, look, their offensive line has kind of been a problem since CJ's been there, and he's managed it. But I want to get him more protection, because you don't want him getting beat up and then, worn down later in his career. And I think they can still get, a receiver or 2 that they like later in the draft. So I go the offensive line.
Okay. Pick number 26, the Rams, who you heavily flirted with.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah, sure.
With the 26th pick in Nick Wright's NFL Mock Draft 3.0, the Los Angeles Rams select Emeka Egbuka, wide receiver, Ohio State.
205 career receptions is an Ohio State record.
Yeah, I couldn't agree with Greg more. I think this is a great pick. That's why I made it. I think, listen, Tutu Atwell is fine. Egbuka that spot for a team that wants to win through the air is great, and having another wide receiver alongside Puka after Devontae's done, I think is smart. I think they are in absolute win-now mode there. I think he could be an impactful player from day one. I know some people have speculated if Shedeur falls, could they draft Shedeur? I don't think you can sell Stafford on coming back and going for it and then spend your first round pick on
Stafford.
On a backup. So I go ahead.
I mean, think about how close they were last year to beating the Eagles. Like they were driving in the snow in Philadelphia.
Down 6
and -2 in turnovers, I believe.
Yes.
Like they're closer than I think we give them credit for. Yeah. And so the draft has to be about making Matt Stafford and giving him the most opportunity to win now. And this is what this does.
In a lot of ways, the reason the Chiefs didn't three-peat is because Matt Stafford couldn't complete that pass.
Pick number 27, Brew, your Ravens.
Killed the Rams.
With the 27th pick in Nick Wright's NFL Mock Draft 3.0, the Baltimore Ravens select James Pierce Jr., edge, University of Tennessee.
6'5", 245, Brew, 2-time All-SEC selection, top 3 in pressures in 23 and 24 as combine, 4.47, best by any edge. Do you like James going to your Ravens?
I do, because this is what we do. We rush the passer. Even last year, what kind of at least started out as a down defensive year, they were second in the league in sacks. Kyle Van Noy's getting up there. He's 34 now, so you want to add to that position for the future. But I think he can give them something in the present, too. Like, I think he can come in and be effective right away. I do think, the secondary was a bigger problem, I thought, last year, even though they got better as the season went on. So I wonder if they could take, like, a defensive back. What do you think about that, Nick?
Well, I mean, they certainly you would think that safety, you get another safety alongside Kyle Hamilton, be interesting. I think the problem for teams that need help in the secondary in this draft, there's just no corners worthy of a round. I don't think, in my opinion, worthy of round 1 pick on those two. This is a guy whose production probably didn't quite match up with the raw talent this past year, but it does feel very Ravensy, this pick.
I wonder the Ravens go guard here, knowing that they need to just protect Lamar.
Tyler Booker?
Tyler Booker would be the guy because the guard class is fine, but there's only a couple guys ready to play like now, and Booker's one of them. So I'm curious if they go guard at 27.
Wow. Okay. We're headed to Detroit. The Lions on the board at 28.
With the 28th pick in Nick Wright's NFL Mock Draft 3.0, the Detroit Lions select Matthew Golden, wide receiver, University of Texas.
Speedster out of Texas, 4.29 40, 23 receptions, so deep balls, led the Power 4. Yeah, we fired up there.
Brew, here's my only disagreement with Greg there. I think he might be replacing Jamison Williams, not alongside Jamison Williams. I wonder if Jamison Williams could end up being a guy who is traded on day 2 of the draft. But I think that they have been looking for a reliable second receiver alongside Amon-Ra, Tim Patrick. They brought in Jamison Williams, hasn't quite, lived up to that. I really think they go offense here.
But you saw when Williamson was able to play like the deep threat that he gave them, and Golden could give it to him. So you asked about the Packers with a receiver. Yeah. He'd be great in Green Bay, too. You mentioned something earlier about the Lions sort of not drafting based off of the consensus big board.
Yeah.
Is this an opportunity to take Harrison, the cornerback from Kentucky? I think it's 40th.
Oh, Maxwell board. Harrison,
because they need defensive help, obviously, and you just kind of throw out big board and say, we just need this guy. Let's take him now and not worry. I mean, look, Campbell was too high, right?
Yep.
Gibbs was too high. All these guys, they drafted too high, been good players for him.
Well, so I think, listen, we've been saying that it's Barron and Will Johnson is the only corners. This part of the draft, Maxwell Harrison, who you mentioned, or Trey Amos, who was Ole Miss, Ole Miss are guys who maybe could be end of round 1 corners. I just think, I think with how expensive wide receivers have gotten, just getting a number 2 wide receiver on a rookie contract saves you $25 million a year. Rather than trying to go find him in free agency, I think it's super valuable.
Pick 29, the Commanders. Let's see what Jaden's squad does here.
With the 29th pick in Nick Wright's NFL Mock Draft 3.0, the Washington Commanders select Nick Eeman, safety, South Carolina.
Okay, first team All-American. And Jeff, this is what you were talking about. Best vertical and broad jump at the combine, 70 tackles each of his 3 college seasons. Dan Quinn gets a versatile guy. He can move around, too.
Well, he can jump over the Eagles' offensive line for the tush push, right? In addition to the tush push. He's just a good football player. And again, added to that defense, especially in that division where teams will be throwing the ball, it makes a lot of sense.
It feels to me like, just like we said, Brew, the Bengals are 100% going defense. The Commanders are 100% going defense. I know that theoretically you could say, do they want to be a team that drafts one of these good running backs? They have to put more of an investment on the defensive side of the ball, especially, Brew, if they're trying to win the NFC East and deal with that Philadelphia offense.
Yeah, and look, their running game isn't great, but it's solid, especially when you have Jaden's a runner himself. And then you got the good receiving group, so that's going to open things up too. So, yeah, I agree. They got to go defense.
Pick number 30. We're going to Buffalo. Getting down to the good teams here. Bills have a few needs.
Yeah.
Okay, with the 30th pick in Nick Wright's NFL Mock Draft 3.0, the Buffalo Bills select Luther Burden III, wide receiver, University of Missouri.
See, I like this a lot. 2-time first team All-SEC, 1,400 yards after catch. Highest Missouri wide receiver pick since Jeremy Maclin. Still supporting Josh again. Remember, they took Eean in the top of the 2nd round last year. Do you like Luther Burden in Buffalo?
I do like it. As Greg mentioned, the mix of all the guys they have there is important. I think 30, 31, 32 are prime candidates to trade out if the Giants or Browns want to come up for a quarterback. Buffalo has always traded back.
Come up for a quarterback?
Yeah, to come up to go get Jackson Dart.
Dart. I think the Giants really want Jackson Dart, and they'd be willing to go up. It won't take very much to move from 34, I think, up to 30. third round pick, fourth round pick.
Bills might be a little snake bitten on once again moving behind the Chiefs in the draft and just seeing what happens.
But they're not trading with the Chiefs.
Yeah,
it's a difference.
fair enough.
But yeah, I think Buffalo would love to trade back and take someone else later in the second round.
Okay. Chiefs time. Picking at 31. Familiar spot.
No, it's not.
All right, now the pick that matters, right? With the 31st pick in Nick Wright's NFL Mock Draft 3.0, his Kansas City Chiefs select Josh Simmons, offensive tackle, Ohio State.
So
Beach does it again.
6'5", 317, only one sack allowed in 19 games. Was hurt, but you like Josh protecting Patrick.
Okay, so listen, if it were to fall like this, the Chiefs would have two really good options. The D tackle from Oregon, Jeff's guy, Derek Harmon, or Josh Simmons. So Josh Simmons, a lot of people feel like, was going to be the #1 tackle in this draft if he didn't get hurt.
Yes.
And so now any type of injury, particularly his patella injury, you worry, is he going to be that same player? I think this would be ideal for Kansas City to take a high upside, not dart throw, but guy who does not have to play immediately at a position they have not been able to fill, which is long-term left tackle. Also, I'm sure Veach is thrilled after years of drafting at 32. He finally gets to draft, a little higher than normal at 31.
I would love if they took Derek Harmon here at 31 if he's available. I think so much focus was on the Chiefs' offensive line in the Super Bowl. Their defense line did not touch Jalen Hurts the entire game. Like, they have a legitimate concern, I think, on the defensive line. And look, Karlaftis is good. He's getting better. Chris Jones obviously getting up in age. Derek Harmon is 6'5", 315. And I just think that you look at the resources they spent offensive line the last couple of years. They moved Kingsley inside. They signed more. You have to worry about Taylor leaving after the season. We know that. But I think Derek Harmon is a special player out of Oregon, and I think he could really fill what the Chiefs need. So they have two choices here, right? Offensive line, which they need to protect Mahomes, or go defensive line and get another pass rusher.
Okay. Speaking of the champion Eagles, they are closing out the first round.
And with the 32nd pick in Nick Wright's NFL Mock Draft 3.0, the world champion Philadelphia Eagles select Josh Connerly Jr., offensive tackle, Oregon.
Okay, this is a fitting end to the first round for you, Jeff. Josh, 24 first-team All-Big Ten, allowed only 4 quarterback hits, and his combine, 1.71 10-yard split, led all offensive linemen. Do you like Josh in Philadelphia?
I like him anywhere. He's 21 years old. He's super young. A lot of room for growth. Getting a little stronger as we know at that age. It's typically just get in the weight room and get more mature as a body. But his last 6 weeks were really good. He had a good film against Abdul Carter in the Big Ten championship game. If you want to watch to see sort of where you think he can be, that's a good one to watch. And I'm curious, where do you have him playing in Philly? Just as like a Lane Johnson, one more year replacement?
Yes, Lane Johnson. I think that he is your swing tackle this year, and then he's Lane Johnson. Assuming Lane Johnson's only got a year left.
I keep thinking he's retiring. He keeps resigning.
Right. and he's still awesome. You know what I mean? Well, what draft was Lane? Lane Johnson in the 2013 draft.
Oh, yeah.
And so, and you know Howie Roseman wants to go on the defensive lines. I thought maybe Derek Harmon there, but I mean, it's kind of an embarrassment of riches for them at D tackle already with Davis and obviously Jordan Carter.
I mean, you look at what they need. Like, you would think maybe safety a little bit. They're both gone, right?
Yep.
They're not going defense line, probably not. Like, this is a kind of a luxury for them at 32 to just sit here and be like, we'll just take a backup tackle. They're taking a backup tackle at 32.
Yeah. The rich get richer. That's what this is.
Just real quick, guys who didn't go in the first round in the mock, who I think could hear their name called. Derek Harmon, who you mentioned already, Tyler Booker, the interior offensive lineman from Alabama, Mason Taylor, Joy's nephew, the tight end. I would not mind at all if the Chiefs took him. It's kind of a luxury pick. Maybe they can't afford it, but I'd like that. And then Nick Scorton and Trey Amos, along with Travion Henderson. Those are some other guys who are just on the bubble of Mock Draft 3.0.
Okay, that concludes Mock Draft 3.0. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get more from the show and to check out clips from other shows on FS1.